Hi, everybody. This is Allison from Alley Cat Creations. How are you? Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you have yet to do so. And if you get anything from my work, a Connect the Dot, an Epiphany, a Mind Explosion, a new book to read, a new author to explore, artwork to create, please consider supporting there. All the links will be down below. AlleyCatCreations211.com is where you can view my artwork. It's my portfolio. If you're interested in purchasing anything, I do everything privately. Please email me. Best way to get in touch with me as well. 3D memberships. Soon I might be implementing 4D, but for right now, we're going at 3D. This is where the perks are. Eventually, I'm going to get some channel member only videos, but also paintings. This month is this Friday. I'm going to have a raffle. You still have time to enter at a 3D level. You get free entry to my raffles. So you might win a giveaway and not even know it. So if you're interested in supporting the channel, keeping me afloat, please consider supporting me that way. It's okay if you can't. I totally understand. And I do apologize to those who watch my book readings. I was have a sinus infection. It's a perpetuating thing at this moment. I am allergic to something. I can't figure out what. That took my vocal cords out. They're still I'm still very nasally. I have a post-nasal drip that just I'm doing the supplement thing and figuring it out as I go along. But I'm back. Not 100%, but I am back. So I'm going to do the best that I can to keep this not inflamed. I had tea earlier. Um, I wish I could have put this out sooner, but I had a whole plethora of things happen in the house where um my W-2s got lost in the mail, so I had to go print them out, and my printer didn't want to print. So I took half the day figuring that out. And then I'm looking for an accredited college that has a master's in art education so I can become an art teacher. And I was on the phone with two schools already today that is like, sorry, we can't accommodate you what you need. Okay, fine. Lovely people, don't get me wrong. It's just the universe needs me to shift somewhere, and I don't know where the damn shift is happening. So I'm just going along with whatever comes my way. Anywho, the God's Book of Eskra, chapter 39. Tobacco. I need that. When God, Son of Jehovah, saw the work of the triunes, he bewailed the ways of heaven. Jehovah said to him, bewail not, my son, nor grieve for what they have done. Bewail not. I like that. But make thou a record of their works, for mortals will preserve a history of this period, which shall be called the era of saviors, and it shall stand as the darkest era in the cycle of Bon. But it shall come to pass on earth that the triunes will cut themselves off in a way they see not. For mortals will worship the saviors, whereupon the triunes will become divided in their heavenly kingdoms. So God bewailed no more, but prepared a new army of 1,000,000,000 angels to go down to the earth to provide for receiving the spirits of such as were sure to slain in wars near at hand. Of those see, of those hosts, Eodemus was given command, and he appointed the following officers to each 100,000,000 to go with him, to wit. So go the which you must pop. I'm gonna just skip that name. Lawan, Thagak, Martha, Ween, Shuberth, Lishon, and the last two, I'm not going there. Nor did they reach the earth any too soon, for war soon encircled the whole earth around, and every nation and tribe and people were immured in bloody carnage. This period was practically the end of the good works of the triune, but equally so the beginning of their mighty kingdoms in heaven, which were destined ere long to overshadow the whole earth. The war they set on foot on earth extended into their own kingdoms, and these three gods, the triune, saw that only by might and desperate vigor could they preserve their heavens from anarchy. Five of the sub-gods of Cabalactes and Vinu revolted within his own kingdom and set up places of their own. And they falsely assumed the names of the saviors whom had been put to death in order to establish the Trinity. Cabalactes summoned his remaining chief officers, Haraktu, his heavenly city, before this throne. And when they were before him, he said unto them, This is the emergency of the gods. My voice and my strong arm are raised. Miscreants, whom I elevated to official positions in heaven, have betrayed their trust. With their legions, they have succeeded and set up kingdoms of their own. I have called you before me, that ye might jointly hear my decree and obey. I will have order and harmony in my heaven. Neither shall there be but one God in my dominions, even myself. It is my will, therefore, that ye pursue these rebellious captains down to the earth, to their heavenly kingdoms, and despoil them utterly. And if need be, ye shall capture them and their chief leaders, and cast them into hell. For they shall understand that I am not a God of peace like the Jehovah's gods, but God of war. For this purpose I appoint Yima as my holy ambassador and earth warrior, and I give to him 2,000 million warriors, that he may make quick work of my rebellion. See, can't get that word out. Rebellious chiefs. Just imagine I had dentures in, it would be bad. My marshal shall select, therefore, for thee, Yima, the 2,000 million angel warriors, and thou shalt appoint thy own generals and captains, and go at once down to the earth regions of these miscreants and carry out my commandments. Yima and his hosts did as commanded, but not suddenly, for an angel war ensued, which lasted 46 years before the five rebellious gods were beaten from their strongholds. And even then, they were not captured and cast into hell, but they escaped, taking 500,000 angel warriors with them, and they immigrated to Europa, to the city of Roma, where they established themselves in security. Thus they disposed Vinu gods, became gods of Roma. Immediately after Yima succeeded in clearing Vinu, Cabalactes summoned him again to Haraktu, his heavenly seat, before the Holy Council. When he had thus come, Cabalactes spoke from the throne, saying, Because my wisdom hath triumphed in heaven and earth, I now take upon myself a new name, Buddha. And from this day and hour shall I be called by no other name forever. Oh, I don't like this. And my heavenly place, my city in my heavens, shall be known henceforth forever as Haraktu, and the Buddhist heavenly kingdom, the highest heaven of heavens. Thou, Yima, shalt repair again to the earth with the 2,000 million warring angels, and establish me as the Buddha. By fire and by sword, by blood and death shall thou establish my name on the earth. Now you know this is a program and a narrative, right? Sorry, I have to. I'm being sarcastic today, but this is real. And thou shalt find a way to teach mortals that I was Sakaya, and Sakaya was and is the Buddha, son of the Triune, son of the Holy Ghost. Jehovah had said, Behold, the time will come up unto both gods and men who deny my all person, when they will espouse even falsehood for sake of their own selfish ends. And Kabbalistes shall falsely assume that he was Sakhya and that Sakhya was and is Buddha. Jehovah spake to God, saying, Behold, he commandeth himself to be called Buddha. Now I say unto thee, suffer this also to be, neither accuse thou him before heaven or earth of his falsehood. As we all know, Buddha is not really coming down and got in war form. Nay, both thou shalt also henceforth call him Buddha, signifying all knowledge, for it is his choice. So it came to pass from this time after Kabbalistes was called Buddha in heaven, and his angel hosts under Yima, who descended to the earth, inspired mortals both through the oracles and by direct contact to call Sakhya Buddha and Buddha Sakhya. And these things were so. And in not many generations, mortals forgot that they were two persons, but they accredited all things to Buddha of the spirit, and all things of the flesh to Sakhya, although the whole matter was false in fact. Wherein it came to pass that the followers of Buddha professed peace, but practiced war and conquest, setting out by blood and carnage and destruction to establish Buddhism in Vinnu. Jehovah said to God, Even this shall thou suffer them to do, for herein will they lay the foundation of the final overthrow of the false god Buddha. For they will put aside the Trinity of their own accord, retaining Buddha and the Holy Ghost. Yea, they will ultimately teach that Buddha is itself but a principle, and that the Holy Ghost is but as nothing. They will say, but they will say war for Buddha. Oh gosh, sorry, this is acting up. And thou shalt obtain Buddha, which shall be followed by nirvana, which they will also call nothing. And things came to pass. Let's hope my voice is no, it's creeping back into the not less were the trials of Initia, for his sub-gods also revolted, and many of them assumed the names of the saviors he had given to Shinya. And he also sent an army of 2,000 million angel warriors down to the earth to destroy them and break them up, and if needed, to capture them and cast them in hell. Of those hosts, he made Death chief captain, giving him power to select his own captains and generals. And if came to pass that a heavenly war ensued on the earth in Shinya betwixt the hosts of Death and the rebellious sub-gods and their hosts, which lasted 70 years. And Death gained the victory, clearing away all the rebel angels of the sub-gods and putting them to flight. 4 of these rebel gods fled to Argos, to Athena, where they established themselves securely. And Chisia now summoned Yadeth and his victorious army to Ita Shang, his heavenly kingdom. And when he was before the throne, Chisia said unto him, Thou hast beholden the machinations of my brother triune God, Kabbalistes, who had falsely assumed the name Buddha, and proclaimed himself the all-highest God, and his heaven the all-highest heaven of heavens. 2 things do I decree this day and hour, an army of angels for the earth of 2,000 million, and thou, Yadeth, shalt be their commander to do my will, and another army of angel warriors for my heavenly kingdom of Itashang, and for my kingdom of Demya over Gautama. For my heavenly army, thou, Luwang, shalt be commander. For Itashang, and thou, Baiwatha, shall be commander of Damaya. And to ye of heaven I assign the care and protection of my kingdoms with your armies. And ye shall wall your places around and fortify me on every side with angel warriors. Yet menace not the angels of Buddha, nor Lu-E among. Nevertheless, if they offend or are disrespectful of me and my kingdoms, ye shall arrest them and provide places of torment for them and cast them in. But as for thee, Yah Death, thou and thy hosts shall return again to the earth, to mortals, and establish me Brahma, which shall be my name on earth and in heaven from this time forth forever. And thou shalt possess the oracles, and by all possible means establish me amongst mortals, as well in Venu and as in Shinya. And all who profess Brahma thereafter shall be my subjects on their entrance into heaven. And if it come to pass that Buddha's mortal warriors fall upon the mortal Brahmins to destroy them, then shalt thou consider that Buddha is my enemy. And thou and thy angel warriors shall obsess every Brahmin to take up arms and war to the death every aggressing Buddha. For Buddha shall learn that I, Brahma, rule these heavens in my own way. So it came to pass that 4,000 million warriors of Inchisia, now falsely named Brahma, were selected and appropriated and marched off to their several places in great pomp and glory. To describe even one of these armies with their music and their implements of war, their manual and possession, would require a large book. Then their vessels of war, their implementations of fire and water, their banners and flags, and above all, their enthusiasm. For many of them had been warriors in earth life and knew no other trade, and now exulted in the prospect of mortal blood and death. Of the sub-gods of Vinu and Shinya, Jehovah said, for this alone these things are good. For in time to come, man of the earth will look abroad over the earth and say, how came the Vinu gods in Roma? How came the Shinya gods in Athena? For since they will not be able to answer their own questions, they will perceive there must have been a heavenly cause that mortals knew not of. For in time of the fulfillment of my revelations, it will not be sufficient unto either heaven or earth to reestablish spiritual communion, but it shall also be shown unto them that there are kingdoms and principles in heaven, and they are ruled over by both good and bad gods. Moreover, they shall understand that of a truth, whoso worshipeth Buddha shall go to Buddha to be his slaves, and who worshipeth Brahma shall go to Brahma and be his slaves. And I will make it plain to them that to worship a spirit, though he be a god, is but the giving of their own souls into bondage. I agree with that. For they shall in that day understand that the great spirit, the ever present, is not an idol in the figure of a man sitting on a throne. Truth. More like subatomic particles whizzing through space. Moreover, spirits and mortals shall perceive that to deny my person will soon or late bring the doer into a trap from which he cannot escape. Give then to Inchisia the name Brahma, for it is his choice, and thou shalt perceive that the time will come when he will seek to throw aside even this name, even his own person, to order to escape hell. This will establish the two false gods, Buddha and Brahma, and at once there was a war in heaven as well on earth. And this was virtually the end of the schools and colleges in these heavens, and also the beginning of the breaking up of factories and places of industry in the two kingdoms, Ita Shung and Hara Tu in atmosphere. As to the earth regions, Vinu and Shinya, this is how they stood in that day. Shinya was so well established in the doctrines of Shinya and Kayu that the people shunned war and idolatry. The saviors had gained but little footing. And now, when the gods sought to inspire the people to war in order to establish themselves, Brahma and Buddha, only the most barbarous regions could be influenced. Brahma, the false god, now perceiving the potency of Kayu's books, sent his angel warriors to inspire the Sun King Tisin to have all the books in Shinya destroyed in order to reduce the empire to ignorance. Accordingly, the Sun King Sin issued a decree commanding all the books and tablets of Shinya to be destroyed. Brahma said, I will have all or destroy all. My angel shall not let sleep in my peace any king or governor in all this land until he engaged in the work of thus destroying my enemy learning. And there were destroyed in 1 year more than 5 million books and 1 million tablets of stone and copper, being the destruction of the books of the ancients for upward of 20,000 years. Besides these, there were destroyed many of the books of Caillou, but not all of them. In the meantime, the anti-war spirit of the people had cried out to the Creator, O Father, what shall we do to avert war and to preserve the revelations of thy holy ones of the old? Jehovah answered them, through God of the paradise, Jehovah's son, saying, build ye walls against the barbarians, and your wall shall stand as a testimony of what ye are willing to do, rather than engage in war, even for self-preservation, because ye have faith in me, and I will be with you even unto the end. And it came to pass that the faithless of Shinya built stone walls, the greatest buildings in all the world, and they shall stand to this day. Jehovah said, behold the works of my chosen. As long as these walls stand, they shall be testimony of the struggle of my people to maintain themselves by means of peace instead of war, and the wall shall be monumentous to the faithless of this land, who have perished by the false gods Brahma and Buddha. Yeah, the testimony of these walls shall be stronger in time to come against Brahma and Buddha than though every stone were a sword and spear, and the followers of my son Caillou shall loathe them with pity and hate. In Vinyu also did the machinations of Buddha and Brahma work sore mischief on mortals. In this country, both of these false gods decreed the destruction of all books and tablets, save such as looked favorable to their own doctrines. And there were here destroyed more than 2 million books and 1 million tablets of stone and copper. And the schools and colleges of the people were well nigh destroyed, the whole breadth of the land. And in both Shinya and Vinyu were there slain in war, in order to establish the names of these gods amongst mortals, more than 140 million people, men, women, and children. By the angel warriors of these two gods were mortals, thus inspired in the work of destruction, not only against the faithless were these gods, but against each other also. And mortals were their victims for the glory and exhalation of the two heavenly kingdoms, Haraktu and Itishang. God said, hear ye, O earth, and ye, O heaven, of Louis Among, the other of the triunes, the founders of the doctrines of the Holy Ghost and Trinity. My word is gone forth, the kingdoms of the spirit of the dead shall reveal through me unto all men. Their libraries shall be as an open book to Jehovah's sons and daughters in heaven and earth. Because Louis Among pursued Azeroth in conjunction with Baal, and overthrew her and her kingdom, and cast them into hell, he became as a lion, savage at the taste of blood. And I cried out unto him, saying, hold, enough. But he said, Nay, till I have Baal also cast into hell, I will not cease the carnage of mortal blood. And he cast about in Oahspe, his heavenly place, pulling up angel warriors, tens of millions, hundreds of millions. But Baal and the self-god of Helesti pulled his mighty legions into heaven and sent them down to the earth, redoubled to inspire mortals to bloody deeds. Baal said, mine is an easy doctrine to understand. All mortals that worship not Baal shall be put to death. The worshippers of the Trinity, the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, are my enemies. Such mortals shall die. Such angels shall go the way of hell. The faithless, the worshippers of Jehovah, are also my enemies. Such mortals shall be tortured and sawed into halves. Fun. Such angels shall be bound in knots in hell and suffocated forever. I will have them know that Baal is all highest God of heaven and earth. All the land of Arabia, Hellasty, and part of Europa was as one great seat of anarchy and war. Louis Among said, I come not to bring peace, but war. I come to set nation against nation, people against people, man against man, for righteousness' sake, while I purify the earth with human blood. Wow. I will not have a halfway peace. I will destroy my enemies, east and west and north and south. By the Holy Ghost have I sworn it. And the kingdoms of Egypt and of Media and of Armenia and Phrygia and Argos and Cynthia and I don't know how to say that. And all of the regions of Arabia and the west shall know no peace till I have destroyed the worship of gods but the triunes. But it came to pass that there was no peace in any of those lands, neither was there system to the warfare looking to any important result. Jehovah hath said, let this stand as a testimony unto coming generations, for they shall look back to these times, and behold, that the wars raged without purpose on the part of any king, and that mortals were but instruments in the hands of the angels who ruled over them. And it shall be testimony unto them of what cometh upon peoples who deny my person, for they shall compare the peace and rejoicing of my people, whilst they had no king, but kept my commandments, with such as put me away and tried to make themselves strong in kings and standing armies. Baal now established two more heavenly kingdoms, one over Jerusalem and one over Apennine mountains off from Roma. And in the latter kingdom, which he called Acroli, he made an alliance with Venue gods and escaped from their own heavenly regions and fled to the mortal city Roma. And near Athena, he founded a subkingdom of 500 million angels and made an alliance with the gods that escaped from the Brahmin kingdoms. In this emergency, Louis Among, the triune God of the Holy Ghost, beheld with fear and trembling his formidable enemy, Baal, and he determined to send to Buddha for assistance. This he solicited to wit, to the triune, the holy Buddha, son of the Holy Ghost, greeting in love and majesty. By the power of the triunes are we sworn to each other to establish the Holy Ghost in heaven and earth, by which confederacy were three gods powerful above all other gods. Now behold, Baal, the most fiendish of all gods, wageth war against our holy doctrines in all the regions of my heavenly kingdoms and on my dominions of the earth also. But my forces in heaven and earth need reinforcement. And I come to thee according to our original compact, asking thee for 1,000 million angel warriors. By messengers, Louis Among sent this to Buddha, who answered him to followeth to wit. It is said that the great trials are the making of angels and mortals. I need my hosts for my own purpose. Nevertheless, if thou wilt cede Egypt to me, thou shalt have the army thou asketh for the space of 100 years. Insulting as was this proposal, Li Meng was obliged to accede to it, or to have his kingdom destroyed by Baal. Accordingly, such an alliance was entered into, and so Louis Among removed his heavenly city, Haspandi, westward and cast it over Nomedia. And immediately thereafter, Buddha established a heavenly kingdom in Egypt and called it Salonia, giving it management into the keeping of Thoth, the Bertin, an angel so named because he was cunning like a fox. With these additional forces, Louis Among now renewed the assault on Baal on every side, even more violently in his heavenly places than on earth. And it came to pass Louis Among routed Baal from his heavenly kingdom and from his sub-kingdoms also, but he did not capture him or subdue him. And the angels of Louis Among obtained Jerusalem and Athena, besides 200 small cities, and their oracle houses and temples also, and Lumi amongst angel warriors took possession of them, so they could answer the oracles and the magicians and priests in their own way. Baal still maintained an army of 3,000 million angel warriors, and he established himself in the city of Roma in Hyades, that is Byzantium. Not pronouncing these things right, but who cares? But used most of his army as rambling marauders. Now, when Louis Among beheld that the other two triunes had taken new names falsely, and that they had gained power thereby, he resolved to adopt himself the names Lord and God. Thoth, his chief warrior angel fighting against Baal, had said, Most holy triune, I must give mortals a name to fight for. The term Holy Ghost is not potent. So Lo-e-among, holy crap, falsely assumed to be God, the Lord of heaven and earth. And he said to Thoth, Go tell mortals I am the same who wrought wonders for the Israelites, and forsooth the Israelites will fight for me. Thoth did this. And furthermore, Lumi among inspired one Ezra to gather all the records he could to be proof of his labors for the Israelites. To accomplish this, Thoth employed 700,000 angels to be with Ezra for the numbers of scribes whom Ezra employed, and by their inspiration were the books of the Ezra Bible written and compiled according to the commandments of Louis Among, and they were thus collected 72 books. And they were put on file in the king's library in Jerusalem, after the manner in which the ancients preserved important records of events, and these books were named by Ezra, the Holy Library, of which number 54 remain to this day. But of all these, not one book was inspired of Jehovah or his sons, God of heaven and earth. Nevertheless, there are many things within them, and they were of Jehovah and his angels. Howbeit, though they were put on record by men, interpreted by men. Louis among in these things sinneth not against Jehovah, for he did not cause his own name, Louis among, to made worshipful. I have theories here. God, Jehovah's Son, was wise above all these trials, for he had the light of Jehovah's kingdoms with him. And it will be shown presently how much further ahead are the plans laid out by Jehovah's sons than by his enemies. Because Pharaoh persecuted the Israelites, Moses put a curse upon Pharaoh. Now, after hundreds of years in the lower heavens, behold, Pharaoh was cast into hell, and then into chaos. And none but Moses could deliver him, as had been previously described. So Moses descended from the higher heavens and delivered Pharaoh, and he provided Pharaoh a new name, Elanes, and sent him back to the earth to labor with the Israelites in order to fulfill his shortness in righteous works. Elanes therefore became a willing volunteer, and many angels with him. And these angels inspired 700 Israelites to separate themselves from all other people and to go live by direction of the angels of Jehovah. Moreover, the angels inspired these people to call themselves Essenes, as commanded by Moses in heaven. The Essenes, hi. So very distorted, by the way, were therefore a separate people, pledged to Jehovah to have no king nor earth ruler save their rabbis, and they dwelt in communities and families of tens and twenties and hundreds, holding all things in common. But in marriage they were monogamic. Neither would they have more than one suit of clothes each, and they lived on the fruit and herbs only, nor ate they fish nor flesh of anything that had ever breathed the breath of life. And they bathed every morning at sunrise and worshiped before the altar of Jehovah, doing in all things after the manner of the ancient faiths. By virtue of the angel hosts who were with them, did they these things. And they held communion with the angels of heaven every night before going to sleep. Alanis had said, because I persecuted the faithless and raised up my hands against them and against Jehovah, I was an instrumental in part for their fall. Now will I labor with them to reestablish them in purity and love. And he labored. And Alanis and his angel hosts made the camps of the Essenes their dwelling place, watching over these few Israelites day and night for hundreds of years. Yeah, without leaving them. These faithful angels guarded them from all the warring hosts of angels belonging to the armies of Baal and Azeroth, and the triune God Luamung and his hosts. And though the Essenes lived in great purity of body and soul, yet they were evilly slandered by the world's people around about them on every side. But Jehovah prospered the seed of the Essenes in holiness and love for many generations. Then came Gaphania, I don't know how I'm saying that, chief of the Luis, according to the command of God, to raise up an heir to the voice of Jehovah. In 4 generations more, an heir was born in the name Jashu, and he was a child of Joseph and his wife Mara, devout worshippers of Jehovah, who stood aloof from all other people save the Essenes. And because of the extreme youth of Mara, the child was of doubtful sex, whereupon the rabbi said the child was an Isu, signifying neutral. The time of the birth of the child was 3 days after the descent of a heavenly ship from the throne of God. And many of the Essenes looked up and beheld the star, and they felt the cold wind of the higher heavens fall upon the place and around about the tent where the child was born. And they said one to another, Jehovah remembers us. Galphania, the chief angel of Luis, knew beforehand that the birth would be, and he sent out around the Assyrian encampments extra guardian angels, and these notified the descending hosts of heaven of what was near at hand. So the messengers for heaven tarried until after the child was born, acquainting Alanis of the time ahead when Moses and Elias with their hosts would come to complete the deliverance of the spirits of the Egyptians, whom Moses had colonized in Atmospheria. Alani said, Thank you, Jehovah. I shall once more look upon Moses' face. When the birth was completed, the angels of heaven re-entered their starship and hastened back to the paradise, God's heavenly seat. And I'm going to leave it there because now I'm starting to lose my voice. How freaking, what a perception that is. So for some of my friends out there, I just want to put this out there. Go look at other people during the Atlantean-Lemurian War, the War of Orion and Lyra, and what occurred on Earth. Because this is kind of what this book is trying to hint at, wink, wink, nod, nod. But yeah, the starship, I think, is a real deal. That's what people equate Sirius to, and the Dog Star and the Star of Bethlehem was like the ship. Cool beans. But Mara, Joshu, J wasn't an invented letter at the time of Yeshua Sananda birth. So how did it become a Y to a J is way beyond my comprehension. But all is beautiful perception, You're going to perceive your reality differently from mine. You're going to interpret words and definitions, meanings and labels differently from me. Eye-opening, interesting. And I hope you enjoyed it. Please join me on Friday if you're so interested. I do a lot of talking, trying to conserve my voice. I'll be doing a raffle on Friday for my lovely paintings that I do on my paint and sip paintings videos. So if you're interested, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Come and join the channel memberships where you get a free entry. And every month that I do a drawing, there's free entries. And if you're interested and you're not a channel member or you want more entries for things to win, check out my community tab. All the information on how to enter is there. Cheap, $5. So sending each and every one of you love, light, compassion, grace, shielding, and protective energy. Please go within. Be the shoulder for somebody. Be the lighthouse for your community. Seed your truths respectfully and maturely, because we all perceive reality different and we create it. So not everybody's going to see the same things, and that's okay. There's no right or wrong in this universe, and I hope more of humanity starts adapting that thinking. Until the next time, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your gratitude. All you need is self-love. Do, 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 do. And I hope to see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.